Okay, here's another Fluke that I just picked up off eBay for $40 with free shipping. And this is a very dirty Fluke 23. Looks like this one was probably belonged to auto mechanic or something. It was rolling around in his toolbox for decades. But the seller said it works. It works great, he says. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's see. Let's check ohms here. Did come with the old original crusty leads. Let me short the two together. Let's see what we get. Oh, boy. Okay, let me get a clip to clip that together. Okay, those are shorted together, and we're reading 30 ohms. Seems a little high. Let's try a different set of leads. Well, that's not looking right either. Oh, it's kind of reading. I think maybe we just got some real bad connections in here. I don't know. I guess it's time to take this apart and see what's going on, but it's not working great. Yeah, let's try a battery reading here. Alright, there's a 9-volt battery connected up, and I'm getting 2.8 volts. So that's not right either. So something's going on with this. I guess it's time to take it apart and take a look. Okay, got this open. Maybe this is part of the problem. The battery is from March of 2012. It's about 12 years old, or out of date. Let's try popping a new battery in it and see if that helps things out. Well, that battery has about 6 volts in it rather than 9, so that could be a part of the problem. Let's try a new one. Well, there we go. We're measuring the battery that came out of that at 5.7 volts. That sounds about right. So maybe this is going to be a good meter. Let's try shorting out the clips here and putting it on ohms. Yeah, we're still getting, oops, there we go. Alright, there we go. Get just a couple of tenths of an ohm through those leads, so I'll go ahead and finish testing. There's the continuity. Test all the functions, see if it's good, but I think that was our issue. Called a 12-year-old battery. Luckily it wasn't leaking anywhere. Alright, did a quick test on everything here, and all seems to be reading accurately, with the exception of the 10 amp input. I think the fuse is probably blown on that one. So we'll take it back apart and check the fuse in a little bit. I might start cleaning it up a little first, but everything else is working properly, including the range button and the touch hold. So excellent. Looks like it's going to be a good meter. Well, it's starting to clean up pretty well. It's going to be a little bit more scrubbing, but especially under the camera view, it's not looking nice and yellow. It's still a little stained, so I think a little bit more scrubbing with crud cutter, the steel wool to really catch the sides here, and I've been using a toothbrush too. You can see on the cover here too, there's where I've cleaned. It's looking okay, and there's what, 30 years of built-on mechanics grease. And I think this thing belonged to a mechanic because, you know, if you smell this thing, it smells just like my dad's old toolbox. And he was for his whole life was a mechanic, airplane mechanic, so it has that aroma of mechanic to it to me. So maybe that's what I'll do with this one, since I've got plenty of other Fluke bench meters. Maybe I'll just put this out in my toolbox out in the garage and use it for working on cars. But I'll continue cleaning it up and checking it out first. Okay. Pop that fuse out. That's a little fuse. KLK20. I'll have to order some of those. I don't have those. That goes right here, and right underneath is a little screw that holds the meter down into the bottom of the plate here. There's a little beeper. It's got a little spring. Clean this up a little bit inside here. I cleaned up around here because there's a lot of old grease and dirt that had gotten down in there over the years. Sprayed the range switch with a little deoxit. That cleans up some of the corrosion, plus it's got a little bit of lubricant that get in there and help out that old switch. So, and I've got this fairly well cleaned up. Here's the case for it. Got several decades of old grease off of it. I ended up using a little bit of a brush and some mineral spirits to really scrub that down. And on the back side of this, look up the Fluke chip, and that was made in the 23rd week of 1985. So I think that's display chip. Doesn't have anything written on it. So it looks like this one was made in 1985. So I will continue to clean up a little bit, put this thing back together, order a fuse for it, and she'll be ready to go. Well, I temporarily borrowed a fuse out of my parts machines here to be able to test this out. It originally was a 20 amp fuse. I'll have to check on documentation to see if that's what it's supposed to be. That's what was in there, this guy. But I'll see what really goes in there if that's not the right one. And I put one of these ultimate lithium batteries in here. That's what I like to put in because, well, these have a real long shelf life, like 10 years. Plus, they don't leak, or are not supposed to leak anyway. Where alkali batteries can leak and just kind of ruin the insides of these meters. So I usually try to put these lithium batteries in here in the meters. It's supposed to have a little cover to cover this up, which is missing. I think that's probably just some type of a shield, so I probably don't need it. But I'm going to put the face back on here and let's see if that amps range works now. Okay, I'm in the 10 amp range here on DC current. So I'm just going across a battery, 9 volt battery. Should get a couple amps out of it. I think this may be a little dead, but yeah, we're getting about 2 amps. So all the ranges work. The ampere, amps, milliamps, all the other voltages are working okay. So looks like this is going to be a good little meter. Alright, it's all cleaned up. Got a new fuse in there, so that's working fine. So this thing's all ready to go. Just do a little accuracy test here with it. It's 9.45 on that one, 9.46 on the other two. Well, that reads 9.46 now also. So let's go up to, there's 18 volts, all within one least significant digit of each other. Go up a little higher. Oops, gotta switch range in this one. 26.05, and all the way up as high as this will go to 28.79. So this looks like it's extremely accurate. It's doing the same thing on AC volts and resistance and everything else. So I think this seems to be accurate and working very well. So this one's all cleaned up, working pretty well, looking good, and even smelling a lot better. Doesn't smell like my dad's old Snap-on toolbox anymore, at least not as much. I find it interesting too that this is the old yellow case with a dark gray cover, where the modern meters have the opposite. They have the dark gray meter with a yellow cover. Just the evolution of the products, I guess. And this is the old, the 1985 edition, and the old logo, where there's a new logo that actually features the yellow. So another great little meter. I've bought a few old Fluke vintage meters just for fun, to get them all fixed up, and they're very useful once you get them working. But I have to say, buying on eBay, a lot of these, in fact I think pretty much all the ones that I've bought, including that guy there, the bench meter, needed some work. This one had a completely smoked input circuit. A lot of parts needed replacing. This one just had a bad tilt bail, and I bought a parts machine to get a donation off that. This had a bad range switch, and this one probably is easy a fix of any, is just one fuse that was bad, and a cleanup. So there's a little bit of a warning, I guess, if you're gonna go shopping on eBay for these. Watch out, because the guys that are selling these things on eBay, and I don't blame them. I mean, they're not technicians. They don't really know how to fully test these things. So they turn it on, and if it has a display, that's about the only test that they will generally do on these things. Is if something comes up, then they'll list it as working and maybe fully functional. So be mindful of that. Now, all the sellers that I've worked with have been very honest, and I mean, I had to return one of these guys, not this one, but a different one, and for full refund because it had completely bad switch in it. This one I emailed the seller back and said, hey, there was some missing parts and broken parts in it, and he refunded me the price of the parts. I won't do that on this one since it just has a bad fuse. Those fuses are a little pricey, but that'd be nitpicking too much. So I'll go ahead and give this guy a good review because I got the meter exactly the way it was listed. So there's a little bit of warning if you're going to start your vintage Fluke collection on eBay. Based on my experience, you're probably going to need to do a little work to most of them, which is fine with me because that's what I enjoy doing. So there we go. There's the 1985 vintage Fluke Model 23 multimeter, which is going to go in my toolbox out in the garage, and fully functional, nice and cleaned up, and working great. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.